Hello, I'm Seafood Lamar Davis II. I would like to welcome you to Volume 18 of the Chung Jeet Complete Instructional Video Series. The title of this tape is Specialty Techniques. Ever since I first started making this series of videos, I've had people ask the question, what are specialty techniques? What is the video on specialty techniques going to be about? What is that going to consist of? Okay. Specialty techniques are what I refer to, that's the term that I used to refer to, the things that make Jeet Kune such a unique fighting system. There are several things about this art that make it stand alone. Some of the things that we're going to be talking about in this particular instructional video are the 4 fighting ranges, the use of the longest weapon to the nearest target. We're going to talk a little bit about timing and rhythm drills. We're going to talk a little bit about broken rhythm. We're going to show you the burning step side kick, the 1 and 3 inch punch, the Straightblast. We're going to go into some trapping hands. We're going to show you some specifics of headbutts, knees, and elbow techniques in the trapping and fighting range. These are some of the things that I feel make this art so unique. When Bruce Lee formulated this system, he wanted to make it as complete as possible. You notice I use the term system. I prefer to refer to Chung Kung Fu or Jeet Kune as a system, not a style. To me, the word style is referring to an individual's way of moving. Okay? In other words, you have your style of moving, I have my style of moving. You have your style of executing a technique, I have my style of executing a technique. We both learned the same system, but that's one thing that I feel is very special about Jeet Kune. The person does not have to bend to fit the art bends to fit the person. So this is another thing that makes Jeet Kune a unique method. Also in Jeet Kune, you don't see the uniforms, the colored belts, the practicing barefooted. Everything is geared toward practical, scientific principles for self-defense in the streets. Okay. We're going to show you the specifics of certain things in this video. There's going to be some things here that you've seen in other tapes. And you're probably saying right now, some of the things that I mentioned, you're probably saying, well, I saw those in earlier volumes. I've seen those in another tape. Sure, maybe you have. But you haven't seen them in the way they're going to be presented to you here. As I said, in this video, we're going to present things to you in depth. We're going to show you step by step the mechanics of certain movements. And we're going to endeavor to take you much further, much more into what we do than we have in some of the other videos due to our time and space limitations because we were covering a certain subject. So here, since we're covering the diversity of subjects, we can spend more time on each thing because we don't have as much overall material to cover. Okay, we're going to start off with talking a little bit about what we refer to as the 4 ranges of combat or the 4 fighting ranges. Several systems teach combat in all 4 of these ranges. These ranges are defined as kicking, punching or hand range, trapping, and grappling, with trapping and grappling being the in-fighting ranges. Okay, so you have kicking, punching, trapping, and grappling. Certain arts, certain systems place more emphasis on, say, kicking. Other arts place more emphasis on punching. Other arts, other methods of combat place more emphasis on grappling. Very few arts have an extensive array of trapping techniques, so trapping is one of the things that makes Jeet Kune so unique as a system. But what Bruce Lee did when he formulated this method, he tried to make it as complete as possible, which means that we want to train for combat in all 4 ranges and not focus so intensely on just one particular range. Okay, assisting me in this tape will be David Tanner. David's going to join me now. And we're going to talk a little bit about these 4 ranges. On guard. Okay, the first range encountered is the kicking range. Before I get into this kicking range, I am on the rim of what we refer to as the fighting measure. Okay? The fighting measure is defined as the distance between myself and the opponent plus 1/2 or 1 full step, which would allow me to land a kick. My lead leg side kick is my longest weapon because it allows me to turn my hips and extend my leg into the kick. Okay? So the lead leg side kick to the knee is my longest weapon. Okay, another thing I want to talk about briefly here is what we call firing the longest weapon to the nearest target. Okay? So, when I'm here, I'm what we refer to as being on the rim of the fighting measure. I cannot kick David without any footwork. David cannot kick me without any footwork. So I have to take half a step or a full step to get in to kicking range. Okay? So, my first goal is to use my longest weapon to get at David's nearest target. So what I do, I close and I kick. Okay? So my lead leg side kick is the longest weapon. His knee was the nearest target for it. Okay. Then we have the hand range. The outer rim of the hand range is defined by the full extension of the leading finger jab. Why the finger jab? Because the hand is open and the fingers are fully extended. This is a speed technique. It allows me to get full extension in the shot. Okay, so the outer rim of this measure, fighting measure of hand range is determined by the extension of the fingertips, the finger jab position. Okay, now, the broadest range in combat is the trapping range, for the simple reason that as soon as I get in hand range, as soon as I get close enough to contact his arm, I'm close enough to trap. Even at this distance, even though I'm this far away, I may not hit him cleanly with a punch. I can hit him with a finger jab, but not a punch. I can still use a locks out or grabbing hand. So even from here, I can trap. Okay, so trapping range goes all the way from this distance into here. Even this close, I can use man sao, which is neck pulling hand, to trap and pull him into an elbow. Okay? We could be in a compound trapping situation. He could defend against this, and I could trap him here. I could pin both arms, and I could fire an elbow, or I could fire a punch here. Okay? So trapping range goes all the way from here into here. Okay? Now, most fighters, most skilled, experienced, well-trained fighters know that the trapping range is the deadliest range. Why is it the deadliest range? At this range, I can finger jab, I can punch, I can headbutt, I can elbow. I even have short-range kicks that I can put in there, like this little hook kick or this oblique kick. I can scoop to the groin with a lead leg straight kick. Okay? I can use my knee. Okay? My elbow, not backward elbow, coming in this way. Okay? I can punch with either hand. I can go right into grappling, which involves holds, throws, sweeps, takedowns, locks, things of that nature. All of these things can occur in that trapping range. Even the shoulder can be used as a weapon, either with one hand or with both hands. I can pull his nose down into my shoulder. That's what we call a shoulder smash. Grab him, pull, and as I do so, I thrust my shoulder forward. It's quite easy to break someone's nose with this. Okay, from the trapping range, we find ourselves in grappling range. Okay, that's where I'm in close. Now, this is grappling range. From here, I can flow right into a wide range of grappling techniques. Okay? I may go right into it from here. I may step through and take him down from there. I may start off, I may lock, I may hit, then I may go into a figure four. and take him down there. Okay? These are what we refer to as grappling techniques. Okay. Also in the grappling category, we have strangles and we have chokes. Okay? So we'll talk just a little bit about that, just briefly, because all that was covered on the grappling counter grappling tape. But if I find myself in this position, this is what we commonly refer to as a choke. Okay? Take him into that position and choke him out. If he were to fire a lead hand punch at my head, and I were to come up under here, I'd shoot my shoulder into his armpit, bring this around, turn it on right here. That's what we refer to as a side strangle. Okay, that shuts off the blood flow to the brain. And before you know it, they're out. It doesn't take long, especially if you really put it in there. Okay, now, once again, David, fire that punch. Okay, now, when I come in, you notice I slip to the side, I drop down, bend my knees. Now I'm going to shoot my shoulder into the armpit. As I do, I bring this around. Okay, David, let's turn around. We'll pick it up from the other side here. Okay, so I come in, shot my shoulder in, I shoot this around. Now, as you can see, this is an actual strike. I use this bone right here in my forearm as an actual strike. So I can hit to the jaw, I can hit to the neck, and I can hit to the neck collarbone area with this. Then, I slide on in, I grip, and I turn it on, okay? And like I said, it doesn't take long. Okay, so these are the 4 fighting ranges. Jeet Kune Do is very unique because it emphasizes training in all 4 ranges and not just one range. Okay, now I want to talk a little bit about what we refer to as timing and rhythm drills. These drills are used to train the timing into your techniques and to develop rhythm in combat. Once you understand the timing, once you understand the rhythm, you can learn what we refer to as broken rhythm. You can learn to break the rhythm, okay? So, we're going to show you a few of the simple drills that we do. David? Okay? These drills are usually done to a 3 count. Unless we want to get more complex than that. The first one that we normally do is the simplest one. It's what we call high, 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 okay? All techniques are thrown to the high line, okay? One of us will initiate, and then the next time the other will initiate. And this is done like 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. Like so. Okay, so first we're going to show you what we call high, high, high with the hands. Okay, notice how we hold the hands in the on-guard position. This is the basic JKD fighting on-guard position, otherwise known as Bajong. Okay, now the rear hand is inside the lead shoulder, just below the chin. The lead hand is slightly lower. Okay, now I'm going to let David fire first. So he'll punch, I'll parry. Then I'll punch and he'll parry, then he'll punch and I'll parry. Okay, so you have that 1, 2, 3 rhythm. Once again, 1, 2, 3, pause. 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 Okay, like that. Now we're just going to kind of get into the drill, and we're just going to kind of flow with it and give you some idea of what it looks like without having to hear me count. Now, based on the skill level of the practitioners, these drills can take place very, very quickly, or they can take place very, very slowly. Starting off, you want to do something about like this. Just 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, like that. You want to start off kind of slow with it. Then you want to gradually build until you can really fire them out there. And once you start to understand the timing and understand the rhythm, then you can start working on what we refer to as broken rhythm. Okay, here we go. We're going to show you a little bit of this high, high, high drill. Like I said, that's high, high, high. Okay, now, the next one is high, low, high. So we're going to go high, low, high. Then high, low, high. 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 Okay, now, some of the other things that you learn from these drills, economy of motion. When I parry, just like this. Not this, but this. Very economical movement. One of the important things that we emphasize in Jeet Kune Do is economy of motion. No wasted motion, no wasted energy. So, we're also working on our motion economy here. Okay, David? Okay, once again, this is high, low, high. All done with hands, of course. Okay, that's high, low, high. Okay, now the next one that we normally do is low, high, low. Okay, so the first shot is low, then high, then low. Then low, high, low. 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 Okay? Now, once again, the emphasis is on economy of motion. You'll notice when I punch high, I punch with the vertical fist. When I punch low, I punch with the horizontal fist. Bruce Lee believed that the closer you were to shoulder height, the more natural it was to throw a punch with a vertical fist. Because this lines the elbow up, everything lines up in a straight line for a good, powerful thrust. Okay? However, as we go lower, turn the fist over because it becomes more natural if you're going low to shoot it out like so, as opposed to trying to go like so. Okay? So, when we're punching head high, we use the vertical fist. When we're punching down low, we use the horizontal fist. The vertical fist is referred to as Chung Chuie. The horizontal fist is referred to as Chuie. Okay, so now we're going to go with this low, high, low drill. Okay, got messed up there. We'll start again. Okay, that's low, high, low. All right, now, the next thing that we're going to talk about is low, low, low. This is perhaps the most difficult of these drills because everything is going down low. You got to make sure you keep everything out of the way to make the drill work smoothly. Okay, so we're going low, low, low. The important thing here is the height of the hands, especially the lead hand. Okay, we hold our hands here. Now after the punch, David returns immediately to there, opening the line for my punch. Then I return, opening the line for his punch. Another important thing that we learned here, perhaps the most important thing, is to maintain the lead hand in the forward position and the rear hand in the backward position. A lot of times when you first start out doing these timing and rhythm drills, you'll find yourself when a punch comes into the head going like this. You pull the lead hand back and parry. Now what I've done essentially here is trapped myself. That's not good. I want this hand to be ready to punch, to grapple, to trap, to do whatever I want it to do. Okay, I don't want it pinned back here where I'm in trouble. Okay, so when he comes in, I want this hand to stay right here. It maintains the lead. Now I could execute a ping choice simultaneously and strike his ribs. Then I could go into a Bill G or finger jab. Then I could trap and fire a back fist. Okay? Now that would happen very quick, something like this. Again. One more time. Okay? Now, we're going to go with that low, low, low drill this time. Pay attention to what the hands do here. Okay, notice how we maintain our lead hand position here and we don't let this happen. Okay? That's very bad when this happens. Okay? I want to keep this hand up here where it's ready to attack. Okay? This is just some of the drills that we can do involving the hands. If we wanted to, we could do the drills with all leg technique or all kicks. Okay? David could fire a hook kick toward my head, then I could fire one toward his head, then he could fire one toward my head. Okay? So that would be high, high, high with the legs. So that's an example of how you can kind of mix this up. David could punch, then I kick, then he punches. Then I punch, he kicks, and I punch. Okay? So you can mix hand techniques with leg techniques. All of these drills are designed to effectively teach you to understand timing and rhythm. Now, once you understand timing and rhythm, you can learn how to break the rhythm. Now, what I mean by a broken rhythm, once an attack starts towards you, you're pretty sure it's coming at you, right? You think it's on the way. You think it's for real. Now the idea here is, the idea here is to deliver the attack in broken rhythm, okay? See, in these drills, we're used to going boom, 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 okay, like that. Just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, like that. Just 3 count. Okay, now what if all at once, okay, see how I just stopped and then started again? Okay, we're stuttering or breaking the rhythm, okay? Now, the application for this would be, if we're engaged in combat, we're moving around, and all at once I go, okay? Most of the time, especially an untrained fighter, they think a punch is coming at them. A lot of times they'll try to block or parry that punch. Okay, so what happens here, I start to move. Okay, now look at that. Now he's wide open. Okay, so we're moving around. Okay, he starts to move with a parry. By the time he's parried, it's too late. I've broken the rhythm, I've broken the timing, and I'm in. Okay? One more time, David. Moving around. That's the basic idea behind broken rhythm. I could also do that with a kick. We're moving around. Start to kick. He starts to react, then he thinks there is no kick, and then all at once, boom, there is a kick. Okay? Now, this can be done basically with all weapons at all heights. Another trick is to start the movement with the lead hand. Then when he goes to respond to that attack coming in, finish with the rear hand. Or start the movement with the rear hand, and then finish with the lead hand. Okay? These are examples, simple examples of broken rhythm. Okay? So I start the technique, I pause. That's what we call interruption of movement. Okay? I start, I pause, then I continue. Okay? Sometimes it's kind of hard to do this, especially in a video training type mode, because it's like you have that anticipation factor added in there. Your partner, knowing what you're going to do, he anticipates it. But it's actually easier to apply in the street or in a sparring situation with a partner, because then you're just moving around and all at once it happens. Okay? And that can make a big difference in the overall attitude of the broken rhythm movement. Okay, thank you, David. All right. That's a little bit about timing and rhythm, a little bit about what we call broken rhythm, and plus we've covered a little bit about the fighting ranges and the use of the longest weapon to the nearest target. When we come back, we're going to cover a very devastating kicking technique that we refer to as the burning step side kick. In this sequence, we're going to talk a little bit about what we call the burning step side kick. This was shown to you in the tape on kicking, but like I said, this tape being on specialty techniques, we're showing you things that Jeet Kune practitioners somewhat specialize in. Okay, so first of all, we're going to talk a little bit about the burning step and why we call it the burning step. When Bruce Lee first came up with this term, it was back during the Oakland period, and the reason he called it a burning step, he was trying to think of a way that could help the students to pick up the explosiveness, to pick up the speed of the technique, and to make it very dynamic, very explosive, very powerful. So what we do, we execute this particular movement from the on guard position. I step forward, say 6 inches to a foot with my lead foot. Now, at this point where this foot has stepped forward, I imagine that I have stepped onto something extremely hot. Okay? Whatever it takes up here to make it work for you. If it's a hot plate, a stove eye, hot coals, hot sidewalk, hot sand, whatever it takes up here to register with you that you're stepping onto something extremely hot. Okay? My own personal favorite is to imagine that I'm stepping onto a red hot stove eye. You probably noticed when you touch something hot, that's one of the quickest natural reactions that the human body has. Like take this wall, for instance. If this wall was hot, and if I were to come up and go like this to lean on the wall, I wouldn't go like this and then suddenly go like that, okay? I would come up and when I touch the wall, it would be more like that, okay? So that's the mentality that we're using here. This is something extremely hot. In this case, where I step with this foot is extremely hot. Okay, but that hot spot is there and then it's gone. Okay? So in other words, after I step on it, when I remove my foot from it, it no longer exists. Okay? Alright, now, with this technique of the burning step, we can execute this in two ways. One is what we call displacement, which means one takes the place of the other. In other words, from here, this foot is going to take the place of the burning foot, okay? So I go here, and then this foot comes up, and this foot is already gone. So this foot can take its place, okay? One way that we like to train this is with what we call the lead leg jam. So coming directly at you, it would be here and then here, okay? This leg comes up to jam or obstruct anything in my path. If my opponent had started to lunge in on me with a kick or just lunge in on me and I wanted to jam him, I could use that burning step with the lead leg jam to jam him, to shut him down, to stop him cold. Now, I can either do this with just the jamming, maintaining my on guard position, or I can attack with my lead hand as I jam. So that's like that with a punch, or I can attack with a Bill G or finger jab, like that, or I could do this, check with the rear hand or trap, prepared to deliver a punch, a vertical fist punch to the face as I touch down. And there we've got it, like that. So I'm here, and then I'm here, okay? So that's another way that we can execute that burning step. All right, David's going to join me now. We're going to talk a little bit more about this technique. Okay, now if I'm jamming, let's say that David starts to suddenly aggressively, very aggressively, move in on me here. Okay? Bring a punch right into my face, David. Okay, see what I did? Okay, let's look at that position again. I'm jamming, I'm trapping, and I'm hitting. Of course, this is kind of hard to do because we have to stop it real quick. Okay? Because we don't want to take a chance on David getting kicked in the groin or getting punched in the face here, because this is a very aggressive technique. Okay. If David started to kick, I can use that jam to jam his kick. Okay, so that's another example of what we can do with the burning step. Our primary use for this technique is the burning step side kick. If I have an opening to the rib area, I simply step, displace, and kick. Okay, now earlier you heard me say that we have two ways of approaching this. The other is what we call a lunge through. If I'm a little bit further away, instead of displacing, I lunge through, which means my rear leg passes where the burning step touched down. So this is when we've got greater distance between us. And I need to get in there, and displacement won't get me there. Now I can lunge through. Okay? So my rear foot literally goes past where the lead foot touched down with the burning step. Okay? Like that. Okay. Now, David's being real nice and holding his hands up for me here. But the idea is, when you come in, you want to shoot something with the hand to convince them that there's something there, okay? This is what we call a projection hand, okay? If I was a little bit closer, I would refer to this as an asking hand, because I'm using it to get into trapping range, and when he contacts, I can use that with my trapping. Okay, in this case though, I simply thrust this out as I do my burning step to draw the attention to the high line. Hopefully the response I'll get will be something like this or this, okay? At any rate, I'm going to try to get him to raise that lead hand. So we're just kind of moving around here, engaged in a little bit of activity, and then all at once, see, right in there. Got to be careful, got to really put the brakes on this. Don't want any broken ribs out of this video. So we're moving around. Okay, so I shoot the hand up, burning step, lunge in with a kick. Okay, now, David's going to get the kicking shield, and he's going to come back in, and we're going to work this technique against the shield. A little bit closer. I'm going to show you a little bit about how powerful this technique can be. Okay, now David's going to hold the shield, and I'm going to lunge in with the burning step. Now you'll get to see the power of the kick. This is quite possibly the most powerful technique or kicking technique in the martial arts. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm just going to kind of move around, make sure I'm nice and loose, and I'm just going to explode and fire the kick in. I'll do a few dry runs just to make sure I'm warmed up and my range is good. Okay, here we go. Burning step side kick against the kicking shield. Okay? Again. Okay, short kick from the other side. A little closer. There you go. Good. Okay, see it from another angle. Once again, burning step, lunge through, and kick. Okay? Here we go. One more time here. Okay? And now we'll go to an angle. A little closer. Right there. So you can see it from this angle. Okay? Now we'll go at the other angle. But you see it from here. Okay. That's what we call the burning step side kick. Thank you, David. When we come back, I'll show you a little bit about Bruce Lee's 1 and 3 inch power punch. This explains how we get so much power into a punch at close range. Jeet is a power side forward fighting art, which means if my right hand is my strong hand, my most powerful hand, the hand that I hit the hardest with, I want to put it to the front. Okay, in the early days when Bruce Lee first introduced this concept to other martial artists, there were a lot of very skeptical people because the idea had been for years that you want to sink down low, pull back into a stance like this or similar, and really drive that punch out there off the rear side. And when you come here, that hand goes back, and when you come out, the other hand goes back. But Bruce Lee believed that you could get just as much or more power with the lead side being the power side. So in other words, my right hand is my strong hand. So when I fight, whenever possible, I put it to the front. One of the questions that I'm often asked by practitioners of other arts or beginning level Jeet Kune Do students is, with the power side to the front like that, how do you get any power? How do you make that work for you? You know, when you're in this stance, you got the power side to the front. How do you make that work for you? And why do we always put our power side to the front? Don't we ever train with our weak side to the front? As you see, when I assume my right lead fighting stance, it takes place, boom. Okay? When I assume my left lead fighting stance, it takes place, boom, just there. Okay? That's because I train both sides. You never know in a situation my attacker may approach from here and he may approach quickly, I have to assume my stance as quickly as possible. If I've got enough time, I may try to step through with my left foot and face him in a right lead. If I don't have enough time, I may have to just bring my hands up. So I have to be prepared for that. So I have to be acquainted with left side forward technique just as well as right side forward technique. So what I normally do in my school when I teach my classes, I tell my students, while we're in class, spend most of your time working the power side. Some of the drills, we put the weak side to the front too. But I look at it like this. If you can learn to do it with this side to the front, you can also learn to do it with this side to the front. We spend most of our time in class with the right side to the front or the power side to the front. And then I tell the students, on your own, away from class, develop your weak side forward techniques. That way, we get twice as much done in our classes because we don't have to spend so much time changing side to side and putting an equal amount of time into working the left side as we do the right. But we do train the weak side forward also. And hopefully, you will eventually develop a level of skill where neither side will really be considered a weak side. And you could just automatically assume the left lead stance with the weak side, or what used to be the weak side to the front, just like you would assume the right lead stance, and feel just as comfortable either way. Okay. When I'm asked this question, just like a long time ago when Bruce Lee was asked this question, how do you get any power with your power side to the front? One of the things that Bruce Lee would do, he would call up a volunteer, someone with what we call in the martial arts a focus glove, and he would get them to hold that focus glove against their chest, and then from a distance of 1 inch away, he would fire the punch. It's called a 1 inch punch because when I execute the punch, I place the knuckle of my pointing finger, the first knuckle, against my target. Therefore, I have approximately 1 inch of travel when the punch comes in. The idea here is to punch not just with the arm, but with the whole body. And that's what we try to do in all of our techniques in Chung Jeet Kune Do. We try to put the whole body into the punch, put the whole body into the kick. That's another very important aspect of what we do. So, 1, we put everything we've got into the technique. 2, we emphasize proper body mechanics in the execution of the technique. So we have the power side forward, and when we punch, we put the whole body into it, and we emphasize the proper sequencing of the body parts. 3, we have good timing in the technique. You learn to time the technique, to execute the technique at the proper moment, just at the right time when the opponent is in the proper range, the proper position to be struck by whatever technique you're delivering. Okay? And 4, we take the most direct route to the target. Okay? In other words, if I'm going to punch someone in the face, why pull back and then punch when I could just punch? Okay? So we take the most direct route to the target. It's the same way with our kicks. Instead of chambering the leg first and then kicking and then re-chambering and then touching down, or chambering, kicking, re-chambering, and touching down, we prefer to just kick or just kick, okay? Taking the most direct route to the target. Of course, the most direct route is going to be a straight line. When is a straight line not the most direct route? When there is an obstruction on that line. When there is an obstruction, we can either remove the obstruction with a trapping hand movement, we can go around the obstruction, or we can strike to a line that is still open. Okay, so these are our choices. And this would be a good time to employ the broken rhythm that I talked about in one of the earlier sequences of this tape. Okay, David's going to join me now. And he's going to hold the focus glove. He's going to be the volunteer here to take the 1 inch punch, since none of you could actually be here to take the punch. Okay, now, one thing I like to tell people, when they see this punch on a videotape, when you see this on tape, you probably are thinking to a certain extent, that guy's just going along with it, there's no way you can get that much power from an inch. Believe me, every bit of the power comes from this punch. Okay, he's not just going along with it, he's not just faking it. This is actually a punch. This is not a trick. Okay, if you ever have the chance to drop by my school, or if you're ever at one of my seminars, I'll be glad to let you hold a focus glove and hit you with a punch and let you feel firsthand, yes, this is a real punch. It is a real solid technique. Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about the mechanics of the movement here. Okay, you'll notice when I do this punch that I take a little bit of time to concentrate and get set and get prepared for the technique. Okay, in reality, if I were to apply the principles of this punch, I wouldn't have to get set, I wouldn't have to get ready, I wouldn't have to concentrate to do the technique. Because first of all, it doesn't have to be perfect in the street. If the power's there, that's what counts. Okay, second of all, in the street, I'm not going to come up to somebody and put my finger on them and go boom. But I may end up in a trapping situation or a grappling situation where I'm this close and I have to hit them from there. And that's where I have to be able to put the body into the technique. Okay? So at that time, in the heat of the moment, with the adrenaline rush, the adrenaline flow, the killer instinct going for me, I don't have to get set. I don't have to go, let's put this down for a second. I don't have to go, okay, we're in this close range here. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to go here. Just hold your hands there for me while I get set for this. Okay, it doesn't have to be like that. Okay, we're in the heat of combat. We're here, boom. We're here, boom, boom. See, we're here, boom, we're here. Okay, that may not be the way it went down. Let's say David gets an obstruction up here, and I trap and hit, and I hit. Okay, now from right here, I want to be able to explode that same power that I put into this 1-inch punch. Or, let's go to this side, let's show it from a slight angle. Okay, let's say I come in here, I pox out, he defends, I pock again. Now see where my hand is? Right here. Look how close I am to him. I can almost reach out and touch him with that finger. Okay? So from here, I explode with the same power that I put into the 1-inch punch. Okay, now we're going to show you this from a few angles. Now, watch my body movement and notice that the whole body goes into the technique, not just the arm. Notice the raised rear heel, just like the fighting stance. Now, as I set up, I shift my weight a little bit, still maintain 50-50, but I shift my weight a little bit to the rear leg by raising my lead heel and dropping my rear heel, and then all at once I slam my lead heel down. As I do this, I raise the rear heel, pushing hard. I torque from the waist and the hips, pivot on the ball of the rear foot, turning my body into the target. Okay? Okay? So, what we have so far, rear foot raises, rear heel lowers, lead heel raises. I slam the lead heel down, raise the rear heel, push hard off the raised rear heel foot, push hard, pivot, get my body, get the waist and hips going for me. At the same time, tricep pushes the arm out. Okay, I start out with my wrist angled slightly downward. This comes from Wing Chun. You start with the wrist angled downward and then straighten the wrist on impact. That increases the impact of the punch. Okay, now I'm going to do the punch, let you see what it looks like firsthand. Then we're going to show you from several different angles. Notice though that the whole body goes into the punch. Okay? I don't know how many of these David can take, but we'll show you as many as we can. Okay. Now we're going to go from this angle, let you see it from the other side. Once again, notice how the whole body gets into the technique. the jolting impact that the punch has. Okay, now we'll give it to you from this angle. Okay, now one more angle. That'll be the last one you have to take, David. Okay. Move a little closer. Okay. All right, here we go. Last one. Once again, notice the body. Notice how I put the body into the technique. Notice the weight shift. Notice the torque of the rear foot. Okay. That's what we call the 1-inch punch. Okay, now, I can also apply this from this range with the fingertips here and shoot it in like that, okay? That's what we call the 3-inch punch, okay? So the difference is I extend my fingers and I touch my fingers to the glove instead of just touching the first knuckle of my point finger to the glove, okay? So this time we extend the fingers and the technique is the same. Slam the lead heel down, raise the rear heel. Push hard off the ball of the rear foot. Pivot on the ball of the foot, torque the waist and hips into it. Boom, and we have it, okay? Now this punch impacts just as hard, maybe even a little bit harder than the 1-inch punch because you have 3 inches of travel instead of 1 inch of travel. And I'm not going to put David through any more of these, so thank you, David. Okay, that's Bruce Lee's 1-inch punch. That's one of the most popular techniques that I demonstrate at seminars around the country, and often people come up to me and say, you know, hey, we've heard you got this 1-inch punch thing. Could you show it to us? And I show it to them. You'd be surprised some of the places where I've been and demonstrated the 1-inch punch in shopping malls, in restaurants, in line at the grocery store. But anyway, it is a very fascinating demonstration technique. Now, when you're practicing this technique, if you choose to practice it, don't execute the technique to anyone who has no kind of protection. Something the thickness of a focus glove or a phone book is good, and you want them to hold it tightly against their chest. Get it off the sternum, above the sternum, and tightly against the chest, okay? Because you want a good, solid target. One time somebody was holding a focus glove for me, and they were holding it very loosely, and it wasn't tightly pressed against the chest. And when I fired the punch, the glove angled back, my hand slipped off, and I punched him in the jaw and knocked him out. So when you have someone hold a focus glove for you, make sure that you have a flat surface, make sure it's pressed into the chest, and also don't try to resist the punch. Just blow out and ride the force, okay? Try to exhale sharply as the punch hits, then just travel backward, ride out the force, okay? Now, that's a basic explanation of the 1-inch punch and a little bit more in depth than you saw in a previous tape. There are several exercises you can use to develop this punch, and it's a very effective demonstration technique as well as a practical combat technique. Okay, now when you're working on this, be very careful. Don't hurt your partner. Okay, in the next sequence, I'm going to talk about and demonstrate what we refer to as the straight blast. In this sequence, we're going to talk about what we call the straight blast. The straight blast is a rapid series of rotating straight punches. Now, what do I mean by rotating straight punches? If you saw the earlier tape on upper body tools, I explained a little bit about rotation, but we didn't really go that much in depth because that was just an overview of hand techniques. Here, like I said earlier, since we've got a little bit more time, I'm going to take a little bit more time to explain to you about this rotation, how this works, and how all of this leads up to what we refer to as Jeet, Chung, Chuie, or straight blast or vertical fist blast. Okay, now, first of all, I'm going to get a little bit closer to you here so you can get a little bit better look at what I'm doing. Now, I'm going to stand square, okay? That means that neither foot leads. I'm just going to stand square, kind of like the Wing Chun practitioners do, and I'm going to assume a stance just like the Wing Chun stance. Okay, now seen from the side, it looks like this, okay? The rear hand is just inside the elbow of the lead arm, and the elbow of the lead arm is about this distance. You can use this as a measure. Thumb to the tip of the little finger. Insert the thumb into the sternum, tip of the little finger into the inner elbow bone, and you've got the proper distance. Now adjust out the height. You want the fingertips at or just below chin high, and the other hand comes to rest just inside the elbow, like so, okay? So this is the position that we train from for this rotation, leading into the straight blast. Okay, now, from this position, I start to train my rotation. Okay, now notice that the punch comes straight at you. Notice that the hands stay right on the center line. That's very important. The hands stay right on the center line. Possible mistakes that you can make when training this technique. One is what we call passing, okay? This is where instead of rotating, the hands pass on the line. At this point where they pass, a quick opponent could slap one of the other arms and knock them both out of the way. Knock them both off center, take both hands out of commission at the same time. Okay? We definitely don't want this to happen. So we don't pass, we rotate on the line. Hands never leave the center line. Okay, another possible mistake is what we call scraping, okay, or sometimes referred to as looping. When we punch, we want to thrust straight into the target like a piston. We don't want to use the hand like a hammer and come over and down. One of the ways that we train this technique is to strike a focus glove or the Wing Chun wall bag, which is going to be filled with either dried beans, sawdust, or beginning to intermediate level practitioners, dried beans or sawdust. Then for the more advanced practitioners, sand or BBs or metal sawdust. Okay? So the more proficient you become with this power punch, the harder your impact surface can be. Okay? So when we're training against the Wing Chun wall bag, the bag has the wall behind it, bracing it. And when we fire these punches, we want to make sure that we're thrusting into the target and not scraping the target. Okay, we want to make sure that we're thrusting right into the target like a piston, not coming over and down like a hammer. Okay, so if I'm looping or scraping or hammering, it's going to look like this. My punch comes up and then down. Up and then down. If I'm hitting a focus glove or if I'm hitting the Wing Chun wall bag, especially if it's filled with sand or BBs or metal sawdust, in a very short period of time, I'm going to scrape all of the skin off of my knuckles. Okay? At this time, I want to point out that the impact area for this punch is the bottom three knuckles. Not the top two, like taught in some arts, but the bottom three. Because the bottom three knuckles, as the impact area, promotes a natural straight alignment of the wrist. So the fist becomes a battering ram, almost as if the wrist did not exist. Just like the fist is the end of a blunt object. So it's like a battering ram. Okay, if I punch with the top two knuckles, my wrist has to bend in order for me to line those knuckles up, and I could very easily break my wrist or break my hand executing the punch in that manner. Okay, so keeping all of this in mind, no passing, no looping, scraping or hammering, and proper alignment of the fist, we have the ingredients necessary for a good straight punch. Okay, now when we rotate, we use what we call overhand rotation, which means the striking hand comes over the top on the center line. Okay, when we fire what we call the bill G or finger jabbing rotation, the striking hand comes from underneath. Seen from the side, overhand rotation looks like this. Underhand rotation looks like this. Okay? Now, when we train this, sometimes we fire them one at a time, sometimes two at a time, sometimes three at a time, and sometimes just continuous. This is a really good way to work on your endurance and your upper body strength. Okay? Good cardiovascular conditioning. If you're throwing these punches continuously, or if you're doing what we call blast runs, which is where somebody holds a focus glove for you and they start to back up, and you have to pursue them using forward chasing step as you fire the straight blast. I'll demonstrate that a little bit later. Okay, first of all, I want to show you a little bit about the various methods that we train this punch, such as one-shot, two-shot, three-shot punches. Okay, so we need to throw the punches one at a time in a two-shot burst, in a three-shot burst, and finally just continuous punching. Okay, so I'll do this in the air first, and then we'll show you how it works against a focus glove. Okay, so starting out from this Wing Chun on guard position, knees bent, toes pointed slightly inward, upper body relaxed, hands in the on guard position. Once again, side view looks like this. Okay, it is from here that we train our rotation. Now you may ask, okay, earlier you said put the power side to the front. Now you're saying stand square. Why? What's the difference? Okay, when we stand square with neither foot leading, that means neither side leads, neither side is favored. Okay? So I can work both sides equally with this technique. Alright, so from here, firing the punches one at a time. 1, recover. 2, recover. 3, recover. 4, recover. 5, recover. 6, recover. 7, recover. 8, recover. 9, recover. 10, recover. Okay, notice I recover. Back to that on guard position after every punch. Okay, now I'll show you that from the side. When you see this from the side, you'll notice something very important about this particular method of punching. When one hand goes out to punch, the other hand drops in a line toward the waist. As soon as the hand punching is cleared, that hand comes straight back in to the position that it'll be when you're in the on guard position. Okay, so watch that closely and you'll see how the hand that is just punched drops in a line toward the waist, allowing the other hand a clear, straight line shot at the target. Okay, here we go. 1, recover. 2, recover. 3, recover. 4, recover. 5, recover. 6, recover. 7, recover. 8, recover. 9, recover. 10, recover. Okay, so that's a side view of that. You should have been able to see how that hand drops in a line. Okay, now I'm going to do what we call two-shot bursts now. Okay, from that basic on-guard position, 1, 2, recover. 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 Okay? Notice once again, the hands do not, I repeat, do not leave the center line. Okay? See it from the side. 1, 2, recover. 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 A little bit faster. Okay? That's a 2-shot burst. Okay, now that was 2-shot burst with the right hand leading. I could also put my left hand forward and train my 2-shot burst with the left hand forward. Next, we're going to talk about what we call the 3-shot burst. Okay, from that squared position, the hands on guard, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, recover. 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 Okay, like that. So now we're going 3-shot burst. Okay, now I'll speed that up a little bit, let you see what it looks like. Notice once again, the hands do not leave the center line. Okay? So that's what we call a 3-shot burst. Okay. Then, after that, we go to continuous burst. So, from this position, I just start punching. Notice once again, the hands do not leave the center line. It's very important. No passing, no looping. Punching with the bottom 3 knuckles. Okay. This particular method of rotation punching is the fastest repetition punching method possible. The idea is the continuous impact from the punches on the skull causes a series of concussions as the brain ricochets back and forth off the inner wall of the skull. Okay, so once you set up on someone with this and start really blasting it in there, they achieve unconsciousness rather quickly. The idea is to pursue continuously blasting. As they start to fall, lash out with a kick. See what you can get with a kick as they fall. If it's the knee, that's good. If it's the groin, that's good. If you kick them in the chin, that's good. Whatever you hit with a kick is good. Then I had somebody one time ask me the question, all right, you've already blasted them all the way across the room, why don't you just let them fall? In the first place, this person, this individual, threatened me, my life, the life of a loved one, or the life of a friend. The way I look at it, if they make that threat, they deserve what they get. And I'm going to see to it that they're not going to get back up and come at me and cause me to have to do something worse to them. So that's why I train my students to kick with the lead leg. Just kick out with the lead leg as the person starts to fall. Okay? Now, David's going to join me with a focus glove, and we'll show you some of the impact training that we did with the focus glove. Okay. Notice David takes a very firm, very strong, very reinforced position with the glove. Notice that the glove is approximately head high to me, but my knees are slightly bent. Okay? Now, starting off, I'm going to train from this squared stance, and I'm going to just punch, 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 like that. Just throwing one punch at a time. Okay, notice how the punch thrusts straight out. Okay, that's singles. Just 1, recover, 2, recover, 3, recover, 4, recover, 5, recover, like that. Okay, now doubles. One, two, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, like that. Now triples. 1, 2, 3, recover. 1, 2, 3, recover. 1, 2, 3, recover. 1, 2, 3, recover. Like that. So this is triples. Okay, that's triples. Okay, now normally, from a stationary position, we don't spend that much time working the continuous straight punch. I'm going to show you what that's like. Okay, square up, measure off. Whenever you're ready, begin punching. Okay, notice that I breathe out as much as possible while punching. That's because you want to be exhaling as you punch. Very important. Okay, now drills that we call pop-up drills. Okay, David is going to stand with the glove down here. All at once, he's going to pop up. I'm going to start punching. He's going to let me fire 4, 5, 6, 7 punches. Then all at once, he's going to drop the glove. Okay, the idea here is to train for continuous or constant forward pressure. You want to apply constant forward pressure when you're using this particular tactic. Close in on them and mow them down. This has often been compared to running into a circular saw with a blunt blade. Okay? So now we're going to demonstrate what we call a pop-up drill. Now what's going to happen here, when David drops the glove, I'm going to do 1 or 2 push shuffles forward, and I'm going to fire these punches over David's right shoulder. Okay? And what this is for, this is to train that constant forward pressure. Sometimes when you light into somebody real quick with the Jeet, Chung, Chuie or the Straightblast, you drive the head back so fast that unless they run into something, they can start to get away from you. Maybe you hit them twice and you knock the head back, and for the next few punches, you don't contact anything. Do you stop? No. Keep punching. Keep the constant forward pressure thing going. Keep punching. Stay right on them. Because chances are, if you hit them once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and they suddenly fly away from you, chances are, if you keep punching and get a little more aggressive with your advance, with your advancing movement, you can catch up with them. You can start hitting them again. Okay? And as they start to fall, you kick them. Okay. So this is a pop-up drill. David's just going to pop the glove up. I'm going to start punching. He's going to drop the glove. I'm going to fire 7, 8, 9, 10 more punches over his right shoulder. I'm going to move forward as far as I can throwing these punches, and then I'm going to stop. So this trains a little bit more aggressiveness into the straight blast. Hold it up. Okay, first of all, measure off. Show your partner where you want the glove to be when it pops up. Right there. Okay, now notice I've changed my on guard position. Now I'm in the Bajong, or the standard on guard position for Jeet Kune Do. 50-50 weight distribution. Rear heel raised, knees bent, upper body erect, hands on guard, on the center line. Okay? On the center line. So the glove pops up, I start punching. All at once the glove drops, I'm going to aggress into my target as far as I can, throwing a few more punches, and then I'm going to stop. Okay? So this is what it's going to look like. Measure off. Short to you from the other side. First of all, once again, measure off. On guard. Okay. Notice I get off 5, 6, 7, 8 more punches after the glove drops. That's the idea. Okay. The next thing we do is put the footwork into the movement. This is what we call a chasing step. This is where you do a rapid series of step slides. From the basic footwork tape, you should remember the chasing step. It's a rapid series of step and slide movements. Okay? Now, we don't call this a chasing step because you use this to chase the person. This is called a chasing step because it's like one foot is constantly chasing the other to maintain the width in the fighting stance. Because there's also a backward chasing step used to retreat. Okay, so what we're going to do here, from the on guard position, we're just going to combine that chasing step, forward series, that rapid series of push shuffles with the punch. Okay? So coming at you, that will look like this. Okay? Like that. Now, we have several drills for training this. They're referred to as blast runs. Okay. David? Okay, now David's going to hold the glove up. I'm going to start blasting the glove. He's going to move back at a speed that is just quick enough for me to pursue and maintain constant contact on the glove with my punches. Notice once again, as I do the drill, as I execute the movements, I blow out or exhale sharply. This helps keep you in sync with your breathing, and it helps to keep you from just totally losing it and just being after you execute the technique. Okay? Okay, I measure off. Just whenever I'm ready, I start punching. David is going to back up, allowing me to pursue the glove. Move up a little bit, David. Okay. All right, here we go. Start from the on guard position. Measure off, back standing, a lead hand punch, because that is the punch you're going to fire first. You ready? Okay. Show you that from the other direction. You ready? Okay. Now, thank you, David. We have another variation of this drill where, as I bring the punches in, my partner backs up, and all at once, he jumps back and drops the glove down low. What I'm going to do, pursue with the punches. All at once, he jumps back and drops the glove, and I execute a straight kick to the glove as soon as I possibly can. Okay? So that's another drill that you can do to work your straight blast. The main idea is to come at them with this technique so hard and so fast that they're completely overwhelmed, completely overcome. Okay, now, when I'm moving in with this, if they try to bring anything up to defend, my returning arm is going to beat it down. So they end up just getting pounded. Okay? That's the idea. Just fire this in there continuously, like a piston. There's almost no defense for it. Okay, only defense is to just back up real quick or turn and run and hope you get away. Okay, so this is Jeet, Chung, Chuie, or Straightblast from Jeet Kune Do. This was one of Bruce Lee's favorite techniques. When all else failed, he would resort to the Straightblast. All you have to do is get in one punch. When the first punch lands, turn it on, go at it, and it will work. Okay, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the use of headbutts, knees, and elbows in the trapping hand range, and we're going to talk to you a little bit about what we call trapping hands. In this sequence, we're going to talk about the trapping hand range, and we're going to talk about how we flow from trapping into the headbutt, knee, and elbow range. Okay, now, as I said earlier, this trapping range is an extremely deadly range. It's possibly the deadliest of all the fighting ranges. In fact, I think it is definitely the deadliest of all the fighting ranges, because all kind of things can happen once you get in that trapping range. And as I said earlier, trapping is one of the things that Jeet Kune Do and Jeet Kune Do is known for. In Jeet Kune Do and Jeet Kune Do, you have what we call Bruce Lee's 5 ways of attack. You have single direct attack, you have attack by combination, you have progressive indirect attack, you have hand immobilization attack, and you have attack by drawing. Hand immobilization attack is trapping hands. Okay. So when we get in this trapping hand range, we have all kinds of things that we can do. We have several energy and sensitivity drills that develop our ability to know when to apply certain techniques, when to apply a certain trap, when this trap will work, when that trap will work. In other words, these energy and sensitivity drills teach us to feel. We don't have to see. We can feel where we are, we can feel what's going on, and we react based on touch. It's what we call touch sensitivity, developing contact reflex. Contact reflex is the ability to react instantly, instinctively, reflexively upon contact with the opponent's energy. So in other words, the contact comes immediately, and we know what to do, we know where we're going, and we can flow right into it and take care of the situation, sometimes without even having to see what's going on, simply because we've developed our ability, we've developed our sensitivity to a level to where we can feel the opponent's movement. We don't have to see it. Okay, David's going to join me now, and as you can see, he looks a little bit different than he looks before. He's got the leg guards on and he's got a head guard on, just in case there's some accidental contact or some contact on purpose, for that matter, during these drills, because I want you to get a realistic sense of what's going on here. Okay, first of all, we're going to talk about getting into the trapping range, which you've seen this in other tapes. Sure, I know you have, but we're going to talk about that a little bit leading into getting into a serious discussion about the use of headbutts, knees, and elbows in the trapping hand range. Okay, David's going to assume the on-guard position. As we discussed earlier, with our progressive weapons, we try to execute our longest weapon to the nearest target as soon as possible in a conflict situation. This is where the term interception comes in. Jeet Kune Do means the way of the intercepting fist. We want to be able to intercept our opponent as they come in. We want to intercept even their intention to attack if we possibly can. So this is what interception is all about. Okay, so what I want to do is at the earliest possible moment, I want to get some kind of contact here on that lead leg. So as soon as I see David start to move, boom, I want to get something in there. Okay, I want to get something in there. Okay, so if David were just standing in just a natural position, just standing there, back up just a little bit. If he suddenly decided he was going to attack, what I want to do, I want to try to pick up on the first movement that I see. In other words, right when he starts to step in, he has to move to me to get to me, which gives me the opportunity to intercept that movement with one of my attacking weapons. Now once again, we're going with the longest weapon to the nearest target. So right when he decides to move, I want to pick off that target. And as you can see, what I did, I went straight to the lead knee with the side kick as he started to move in. Okay? That's the idea, to intercept at the earliest possible moment. Okay, now what if we're standing a little bit closer? And I'm not really sure what's going on here, but I think that there's going to be a problem. What I want to do, I want to gradually, if possible, turn my right side to him so that my power side faces him. And I want to assume a position that does not really appear threatening, but puts me in a position where I can intercept as soon as possible. So this time what I'm looking at, since he's a little bit closer to me, what I'm looking at now is the possibility of the eyes or the facial area, the nose, as a potential target. So what I'm thinking about here is that Bill G or finger jab. So as soon as David starts to move, as soon as I pick up on that, I want to finger jab to the eyes. Okay, once again, we're just standing here. I'm not really sure what's going on. As soon as he starts to move, I want to shoot that finger jab in there. If I'm standing like this and he starts to move, I want to shoot it in there. Intercept at the earliest possible moment. And as you can see, every time I struck, there was some contact. It's good to have some type of equipment like this so you can make some contact so that you'll know you were there. Okay? So, if we're in a fight situation, on guard, what I want to do, I want to progress inward to that final deadly trapping range, okay? So what I need to do, I have to close kicking range, punching range, and get in the trapping range, and then get in there where I can apply these deadly headbutts, knee smashes, and elbow strikes. Okay, first of all, when we get in here to this close-in range, which I have done, okay, at that point, if I kick and then I come in with a hand that I trap and I come in and I hit, okay, I'm there, okay? Now, what if he defends here? Okay, I have to follow through with something else, okay? In that case, I went boom, boom, I trapped here, I hit here, and then I finished up going there with an elbow. So I pretty much did it with the elbows that time. Okay, now what if I come in, boom, he intercepts, boom, boom, boom. I choose a headbutt, then another elbow. Okay, now notice when I do the headbutt, is that too hard? Notice when I do the headbutt, I use the top of my head. Not my forehead, but the top of the head, just above the hairline. That's where I want to get that headbutt in there. Okay, now for now I'm using the thick part of this padded target. In reality, I'm going to the nose, to the temple, or to the jaw hinge. In fact, if you don't have a clear shot at the nose, the temple, or the jaw hinge, you're better off not to use a headbutt. Okay? But I'm striking with the part of my head just above the hairline, the top of the head, not the forehead. This is the hard part of the skull, right here. So when I get in that headbutt range, if I neutralize the hands and it's offered to me, boom, I'm going to take it. Okay? Or if he's turned slightly to the side, boom, I'm going to take it right into the jaw hinge or the temple. Okay? So, preferably, we don't want to use this. Okay? You know, there's an old saying, that's using your head. Well, sure, that's one way of using your head, but we would rather use our head in another way, which is to be intelligent enough to get into a position where we can use our elbows, use our knees, use our grappling moves, and only use a headbutt if it's absolutely necessary or if there's just an irresistible opening there. Okay, so there's several ways that we could get into this range. As I said, I can kick, then I go for the attack, he defends, I shoot through, he defends again, I shoot through, I back fist, I punch, I trap, I headbutt, I elbow, and I knee. Okay, now this is an upward knee smash. Okay, when I fire a knee smash, I can go upward with it, or I can go inward with it. Upward, inward, and in some instances, outward. So we have upward, inward, and outward in some instances. Okay? Now, I can also thrust with the knee, like so. I can thrust straight in with the knee to the solar plexus or to the groin. Okay? Now, with the elbows, I have a real wide range of things I can do with the elbows. A little closer. Okay, just drop your hands. Okay, and I'm going to show you some things with the elbow. I can come across, like so. I can come across and in, like so, driving straight in. I can come up, like so. I can come in on a downward angle. I can come in on an upward angle. Okay? So I can go straight up. I can go in. I can use a backward elbow coming in here. Backward elbow. Okay? I can angle down or I can angle up. I can also strike straight down on a vertical line. An example of when that would be used, let's say we come into trapping range once again. I'm here, I lock, I punch. Okay, now let's say that he gets the defense up against this. I lock, punch, trap, elbow, elbow, elbow. Okay, need one example. Okay, let's say he throws a punch. I parry, finger jab, trap, elbow, knee smash, elbow. Okay, he comes in. Okay, he comes in. Okay, can't get going too fast here because we don't want to take a chance on any serious damage occurring. Okay, let's say I'm standing here, we're talking, he's standing here. I suspect that something's going to happen, but I'm not really sure what's going to happen. And let's say he just all at once decides he's going to take a shot at me. Okay, so we're here, we're talking, all at once he decides to move. Okay, notice that I zoned to the side. Okay, when he came in, I zoned to the side. I shot a finger jab in, I hit, I trapped, I hit. Okay, now, look at this. I'm in perfect position to trap the head, drive the headbutt into the temple here, then torque the neck for the takedown, slamming an inner elbow into the sternum or the throat as I take him down. Okay, once again, this time, same thing. He comes in. This time I combine a simultaneous lead leg oblique kick with my counter. Okay? Now from here, I touch down. Perfect time for an elbow. Off of this, I trap the neck and drive the knee in, and then a downward elbow coming in from above. Okay? So that would be another example of how we use the elbow. One of my favorite tactics is when someone comes in and tries to grab me, I like to parry, rake both eyes, headbutt, elbow, trap, elbow, knee smash, elbow, neck break. Okay, see how that flows? He comes in. Okay, okay? We just flow right through. Show you some stuff on the other side. Let's say that he decides he's going to come in this time with a left hand. So if we're standing here, he decides he's going to come in with the left hand. Okay. Notice I parry. As I angle off, I trap, I back fist, knee smash, elbow, elbow, knee smash, stomp, take down, kick. Okay? Again, he comes in with the punch. This time I zone him out. Finger jab, hook kick, elbow, knee smash, elbow, knee smash, elbow. Okay? Notice how these things just kind of flow and they're just kind of interwoven. They work together very well. Okay, he comes in again. Bomb sow, lob sow, back fist, straight kick, coming right into the head. Stamp, arm bar, back fist, okay? That's how we just kind of flow, okay? He comes in again, same thing. I zone to the inside. Long pop as I finger jab, straight kick, straight punch, 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 okay? All kind of things can come into play here. Okay, let's say he comes in with the right hand again. He comes in, I zone out, hit him upside the head with a jiao sao, a running hand. Let's say he gets this hand up. Okay, I come down, slap the groin, back fist, elbow, knee smash, elbow, okay? Another example, okay? So he comes in, I parry, I finger jab, I lock, I hit. I step in, I elbow, I hook, I knee, and I elbow, okay? Again, he comes in, this time I zone, and I hit here, okay? Take the arm here, pull it right into a headbutt, directly into the nose area, elbow, thumb hook, knee smash, elbow. Okay, another example. All right, let's say he comes in again, same thing. Zone out, long pop, finger jab, lock, punch, hook kick, step through, elbow, knee smash, elbow. And down he goes. Okay, come in again, same thing. Parry, finger jab, neck torque, elbow, knee smash, elbow. Okay, let's say he comes in with, let's say a right-left combination. Okay, parry, parry, trap, back fist. Knee smash, elbow, knee smash, stomp, takedown, kick. Okay? Alright. Let's say he's in the left lead. He comes in with a left-right combination. Left hand, right hand. Okay, notice I bridge, finger jab, lock, punch, knee smash, elbow, knee, elbow. Okay? Notice how, especially when I'm in close, when he comes in, notice how from this range, all this stuff just boom, 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 boom. See, all this stuff just really, really works well. See the knee, right into the elbow, okay? So he punches again with the right hand. He comes in, I sweep him out, trap, elbow. It's very direct. Watch it again. Okay, see it from the other side. Okay, right in. Neck torque. Coming right back into the throat here. Cradle. Break. Okay? Again, he comes in. I zone out. Groin slap. Elbow. Back fist. Uppercut. Chop. Okay? Arm bar. Knee smash. Elbow. Okay? See how this arm lock works. Pressure to the throat, knee smash, elbow, right out of the arm bar position. So we're here, we're here. Okay, now from here, boom, headbutt to the temple, boom, or to the jaw. Okay, little chop in there to the throat. Okay, all those things fit in very nicely. So he comes in, punch, I zone off, groin slap, close range hook kick. Remember how I was talking about in the trapping range, you can even kick? Close range hook kick. Again. See that hook kick right in there. Okay. See how these things just flow? Once more, he comes in with a punch. Zone out, shovel hook. Cut, punch, knee, elbow. Okay? Come in again. Hang lock, parry. Short range hook. Elbow. Right off the elbow, trap, knee, and another elbow coming in. Okay, so these elbows just really fit in nicely, as do the headbutts and the knee smashes. We want to work on, as we're attacked, we want to work on just being able to just smoothly respond to whatever may come at us, okay? We want to be ready for all of it, for any of it, okay? Once again, important points. Intercept at the earliest possible moment. Clear the line. Strike. Trap if you need to. Work your way into elbow, knee, elbow, headbutt, elbow, neck torque, cut, knee. Slam them down, okay? Working in. Left leg coming in. Kick. Trap back fist. Okay, again. Pick up on the earliest possible movement. This is just a straight stop kick. Again. Trap. Back fist. Punch. Break. Hammer. Back fist. Trap. Knee. Step through. Down. Okay. Thank you, David. All right, I think by now you get the idea what we're looking for. This is what we call the specialty techniques of Jeet Kune Do. Okay, David and I have enjoyed being with you in this video. As you probably know, I am the executive director of the United States Jeet Kune Do Alliance, which is an organization dedicated completely and totally to the preservation, perpetuation, and further development of Bruce Lee's fighting method. And if you're interested in becoming a member, you can write to me, Seafood Lamar and Davis II, at 267 West Valley Avenue. If I don't get run over by the train passing behind the Kune right now, you can write to me at 267 West Valley Avenue, suite number 223, Birmingham, Alabama, zip code 35209. I'll be glad to send you a membership application and send you some more information on membership in the USJKDA. Like I said, we're dedicated 100% to the promotion, preservation, and perpetuation of Bruce Lee's fighting methods. Another thing that I would like to remind you of, there are 20 total volumes in the Jeet Kune Do Complete Instructional Series. There's also a Jeet Kune Do USJKDA Seminar Series consisting of 15 volumes. Then we have 2 volumes that stand alone. One is Real Jeet Kune Do, which is an overlook of Jeet Kung Fu and Jeet Kune Do as it is practiced by the USJKDA. The other is Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do Essential Self-Defense. That is a look at how we apply these techniques in a self-defense situation. I hope you've enjoyed Volume 18, and I look forward to seeing you again in some of our future volumes. We also have some more series coming out in the near future. One is the Advanced Tracking Hand series, another is the Training Method series, then we have the Street Combat series, and then we have the USJKDA Instructors Training series. So look forward to these videos. They'll be coming out in the near future. And if you're interested in the clothing that you see me wearing in this video, this is JKD workout wear. It's designed by one of my apprentice instructors, Mr. Jonathan Parsons, and his wife Kim. If you're interested in obtaining some of this JKD workout wear, you can contact them by calling 1-800-JKD-6969. That's 1-800-JKD-6977. They have sweatshirts, they have sweatpants, they have t-shirts, they have tank tops, they have shorts, they have crop shirts, they have a very, very, very broad selection of clothing for the JKD enthusiast with this emblem as well as another emblem. The other emblem has the hands inside the triangle in the basic position of the salute. Okay, if you're interested in the JKD workout wear, call Jonathan or Kim, talk to them about it. They'll be glad to help you with that. Okay, as I said, we've enjoyed working with you in this video. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next video, volume 19, which is self-defense for the streets.